So as you can see, and as you just heard, it is National Cancer Prevention Month. So I personally don't think that anybody should wait until 1 month out of the year to be thinking about prevention of cancer, but we're going to take advantage of the fact that they decide to declare this month to be National Cancer Prevention Month. I think every day we should be thinking about how we can prevent cancer. And you heard some of the statistics that was just mentioned. It's staggering to think of just how much how pervasive this problem actually is. So this is part one of our discussion. Dr. Prasad has so much to say. We could really do part one, part two, part three, and part four. We could have spent the whole month just talking about cancer, but we decided to limit it to just 2 weeks. So this week and next week, we'll be talking about it. So part one and part two. And Dr. Prasad said, well, there's a few things that we'll say this week and just kind of lay the foundation for the coup de grace that will hit next week. So watch out. But before we get started, though, just keep in mind that the FDA has not evaluated these statements. Testimonials that you may or may not hear, they're always anecdotal. We're not doing double-blind placebo studies in our discussions here. So you hear testimonies are anecdotal. The folks that share their stories believe that what they're saying is true, and they are credible persons. And but results are atypical. What happens to one person may or may not happen to you. So Engage makes no claims. And Dr. Prasad is making no claims. Jonathan Jones is making no claim. Hosts and moderators, co-hosts, do not make any claims that Engage products will treat, cure, or heal in any way. Only the federal government can declare something to be a treatment for a disease. So we strongly recommend that when it comes to your health and well-being, that you seek the competent medical advice of professionals that you trust. What you hear is for information and educational purposes only. But here's some of the staggering statistics. And this is just something that came from the CDC's website. And the thing that stands out more than anything to me on this list is that cancer is still the second leading cause of death. And I still remember going back 20 years ago saying to myself, boy, every time I look around, they're doing a march for cancer. They're doing a fundraiser for cancer. There's all these institutes for cancer. Millions and billions of dollars being spent on cancer. And they've been doing this for, actually, cancer didn't exist in the early 1900s. So it's been probably about 75 years or 80 years or so. I don't know. Maybe Dr. Prasad will tell us. But after billions of dollars, you mean to tell me it's still the second leading cause of death in the richest country in the world? That makes no sense to me at all, folks. And I'm sorry, it makes no sense whatsoever. And that's why we're here today. And I applaud you all for being here today. We have some 68 connections right now, and it's not too late to pick up the phone and call someone that you care about and invite them to this discussion. Dr. Prasad is going to be telling us some interesting things today. And look at this list. I just did a quick search to see what are the most preventable cancers. And did you know that according to the American Cancer Society, 42% of all cancers is preventable? 42%. Now, they put smoking and obesity there at the top of the list, and it's followed by alcohol. And I know that that may disappoint some people that alcohol is on the list of things that could cause cancer, but I'm pretty sure that we'll hear a little bit from Dr. Prasad as to why these particular items are listed here. It does not surprise us, probably doesn't surprise anyone, that poor diet is on the list, but physical inactivity is a cause of cancer. Yes, it is. UV radiation is a cause for cancer. Dr. Prasad is the world's first radiation biology PhD, so he's going to be able to tell us a little bit about that as well. And I thought this was really interesting. This article went back to May of 2011. This is 2024 we're in right now. Why was this not all over the news? That the World Health Organization made a declaration that cell phones could cause cancer. And most people never even heard about any of this. Most folks never knew. But you can just do the research for yourself. They said it could. It could be a possible cause for cancer. They classify it right in there with things like the exhaust from gasoline-powered engines and lead and other chemicals and things like that. But they say it could be a cause for cancer. So I'm not telling you to throw your telephone away, but I am saying that there are things you can do to prevent. cancer from taking root in your life. There's things you can do. So, and that's where this kind of brings us, full circle to the beginning of our discussion. I'd like to properly introduce to you into our discussion Dr. Kedar Prasad. Dr. Prasad was a professor of University of Colorado School of Medicine for some 30 years. He also was the former president of International Society of Cancer and Nutrition. He was a member of the Royal Society of Medicine, London, UK. He was invited to be a member of the Nobel Peace Prize nominating committee for candidates in medicine. He was also the world's first radiation biology PhD, so he knows a little something about how radiation could initiate cancer. So I'm sure he'll share some of those things with us today. He was awarded some 8 US patents on micronutrients. I think we're actually in the 9 category now, but 8 that we officially know about. He discovered the anti-cancer potency of vitamin E succinate. So out of all the vitamin E's that exist, and out of the thousands, perhaps millions of scientists in the world, it was this man who figured out that a specific type of vitamin E succinate, a very specific type of vitamin E, was cytotoxic to cancer, meaning it would kill cancer cells. That to me is just amazing. He also figured out or discovered that that butyric acid, the small fatty acid formed by the fermentation of fibers in the gut, is an anti-cancer agent. So we're talking about someone who knows a little bit about cancer. In fact, he knows a great deal about cancer. He's the one who taught many doctors what they know about cancer. He's the author and co-author of some 33 books, and he's been published, this says 250 times, but I think we're talking more like 300 times in peer review publications. So Dr. Prasad, bottom line is, this man has forgotten more than most of us know. So thank you very much, Dr. Prasad, for joining us in our discussion. And we cannot thank you enough for taking the time to be with us and to share with us some of the enormous amount of knowledge and experience that you have on subjects like this.
Thank you, Jonathan. I'm always happy with you and the Engaged family discuss about cancer, like you said. It is the second most, instead of, we predicted that cancer incidence will decrease, but instead of decreasing, it is increasing.
That makes no sense, Dr. Prasad. That makes no sense.
But here they tell you why it is happening. That's the major reason in prevention issue. Prevention and treatment is two different issues. Approach is totally different. In part may be similar, but it's totally different. So let us see prevention. Prevention first discuss one by one. Diet. Now, first you have to know what are the agents in the diet that can increase the risk of cancer. Obviously, one thing is the diet is very important. Is a what you call micronutrient deficient diet. If you eat it, that will increase oxidative stress. So you have to have a good amount of micronutrient in your system through the diet, for example, fruits, vegetables. And the second thing, for example, anything you eat, for example, meat eater has more, during digestion process, the carcinogenic substances are formed. For example, if you are meat eater, you will form more than, say, if you are vegetarian, but still you will form more. The question is then what you do to reduce it so that you don't get it, right? And another thing in the diet is, as I mentioned earlier, that in breakfast, I love bacon, but bacon and sausage or any kind of cured meat has a lot of nitrites in them. And nitrites are used as a preservative. Yeah. And you can see that nitrite used as a powerful cancer-causing agent is nitrosamine. So when you eat bacon or sausage, they have a nitrite, and nitrite, when it goes in the stomach, there is already another agent present in the stomach called amine. It is naturally occurring substance is already present in your stomach. So when nitrite combined with amine, they form nitrosamine. And nitrosamine is the most powerful human carcinogen. And so the question is, how do you reduce so that you don't form all these things? Well, one way is that you take a vitamin C. If you have gone for a breakfast, either you take our micronutrient, or if you forgot it, then you can order some orange juice. And if they have antioxidant at the time you are taking these products, this combination would not happen. So there you protect yourself for at least one. There are multiple events, and some of
Right.
these events act together. So if you take one by one, but see, many people are not aware of this. If they are aware of this, they don't follow it. And that's the reason cancer incidence is not decreasing. These are simple procedure to follow it. Another thing is that, for example, people have in a diet less fiber. Yeah, meat eaters, you can see that they form more, and if antioxidant is present, and then they don't do it. Now, also in a diet is very important. A high fiber diet is very important. Why? Two things. First, high fiber diet can eliminate your feces more effectively if you have those. And second thing is it gets fermented to produce butyric acid, which is very powerful anti-cancer agent.
Oh,
And
wow.
so that's why the important. But how many people take, and fiber you can get it, fresh fruits and vegetables, but not many people eat vegetable every day. I try to do it as much as I can, and so this is very important. So diet is extremely important, and it is estimated that diet contributes about 30% of human cancer. Poor diet. If you have a lot of fat, that can increase the risk of cancer. That's why you saw obesity. And what I read is maybe it is a previous statistic, Jonathan. You mentioned that smoking. So the diet is one thing. Then you have lifestyle changes. Lifestyle changes means if you're a smoker can increase the statistic that I knew, maybe it is the oldest statistic, was 30% of cancer. If somebody just leaves smoking alone, it can increase, it can decrease the risk of cancer by 30%. We have been talking all these things for years. Have they around the world? I'm talking not here. Incidence of a smoker, now they have what you call a electronic smoking. Many times people have replaced, but they have as much risk as anything else. As a matter of fact, a smoke come out from the electronic cigarette can further damage the lungs. And so
They said that was supposed to be the safe one, right?
yeah. And I have written a paper on electronic cigarettes and its potential danger. And so you can see that at least you can avoid this thing, but people don't avoid it. And that's why the cancer risk is increasing because smoking has not stopped. One thing that you mentioned is very important, but now we have new kid in the block, which is we can't avoid no matter what we do, is electromagnetic radiation from iPhone, cell phone, computer. Right now we are working, can't avoid it. Why? Because they have been defined by World Health Organization as a potential carcinogen. Not only that in human, but animal study. The National Toxicology Institute in Carolina, North Carolina, they have an excellent, this is national laboratory. I have an excellent laboratory of animal study, and they found that electromagnetic radiation increase the risk of different types of cancer in the animal model. But human, from there you extrapolate that probably human, they have observed in epidemiology study. In other words, survey type of study they found. That's it is also true in human. But some study found it is not true. So, but to me, if it does to animal kingdom, rat and mice, then means most likely it is also carcinogen for human.
Yeah,
This is the way, remember,
absolutely.
This is the way smoking started in early 60s, that they said, no, smoking doesn't cause anything,
Yeah, it's
We
safe.
found out that smoking does increase the cancer risk. So this is what we have a stage, what we were in the early 60s, people are not accepting it. But the question is, what is it in our hand we do it? The smoking is behavior changes, you can't force them. This is also, you can't avoid them, but we have something that we can do it, and I will tell you what. And so, yeah, so this is also, lifestyle is also very important. Stress, mental stress, chronic one. Acute one is okay, because acute sometimes stress makes you more motivated, but chronic stress is another factor that can increase the risk of cancer in people. And so you can see that there are many other factors that are there. So that's the diet and that's the lifestyle. The lack of exercise, physical activity, which is true for your overall health, and cancer happens to be one of them. And then also the third important thing is the environmental agents. And the EMF radiation has become environmental agent. We can't avoid it. Certain environmental agent, we can't avoid it. But for example, drinking water, if it is polluted, many places, not in our place here, California, but other places could be contaminated with lead and mercury and all kind of heavy metals. Not only that, but organic compound.
Right.
That can increase the risk of cancer. So you can see that many times environmental issues, those are beyond our control. We don't even know which kind of environment is, what kind of potential carcinogens are there. But few things we know, and if we can take care of that, then it will be okay. So this is all the physical, diet, lifestyle, and environmental factor that increases the risk of cancer. So let us go do one by one what we can do to reduce it. And then I will go to inside what biochemical changes occurs because of these exposure from outside, and that can lead to cancer, and how we can intervene it. And so in this scenario that we think that we mentioned, for example, diet. You take the micronutrient-rich diet, that will be very helpful to increase your micronutrient level in your body. You stop smoking, you do exercise, and so these things you can do it. I mean, these are things within our control. Something to stop smoking completely, but we have been telling these things for a long time.
Right.
There is nothing new here. Take a fiber, and actually the National Institute of Health Cancer Institute recommends one should take 28 grams of fiber every day. But do we do? Not even 1/3 of that. We do it. And so and these are all published information in support of this kind of recommendation. So we can do it. And that's the reason that we have not been able to do anything. But for example, if you are taking a bacon sausage, then you take a micronutrient before that, then you don't form those nitrosamine. If you are you are meat eater, which most of us are, and then you take a micronutrient EMF, so your stomach is all the time has a high level of antioxidant, and then will reduce the potential carcinogenic agents. And it has been demonstrated that if you do it and measure the carcinogen, they decrease it. It was all published information. So nothing that I'm making it up. And so you can see that you can do it. Something is in your hand. It is easy to do it, but I don't think people follow it. That's the problem. Some of us follow it now, and so it's very important to have in your body antioxidant. Well, let us see what happens within the body that leads to a cancer. Because by the time you're exposed to cancer-causing agents, it takes 10 years for leukemia to develop it. It takes 15, 20 years for solid tumor to develop it. So there's a lot of interval, even though you have been exposed to, yeah. No, yeah. So we have to know. Here is the thing that it is very important to remember that there are tumor initiating. We call it tumor initiating agent, and tumor initiating agent are those agents which by itself, at high doses, can induce cancer. And tumor promoting agent is, suppose if you have a less moderate level of exposure to cancer causing agent,
Mm-hmm.
it requires help of tumor promoter to become a cancerous. For example, in case of breast cancer, there are a lot of initiating agents, but estrogen act as a tumor promoting agent. Excess fat act as a tumor promoting agent. So you should not only avoid tumor initiating agent, but also tumor promoting agent. And here is one of the major things that tumor initiating agent does is increases the production of free radical in your body. And so, yeah, this is very important to remember that normal cell go to initiating phase, which accumulates a lot of gene mutation for several years. So mutation can occur, doesn't mean that they are going to form cancer. But once, and then initiating and cells undergo promoting phase, promotion by exposed to promoting agent, during which several mutations may occur. But when mutation occurs in a key genes in your body, like oncogene or tumor suppressor genes or differentiation genes, then cell become cancerous. So the question is how we are going to do everything like that, how we can do it. But increased oxidative stress and chronic inflammation is the central issue
Mm-hmm.
which initiate mutagenic changes because they alter DNA, and therefore you can see here that tumor initiating agent increase oxidative stress, which can induce mutation in genes of normal cell, which can drive differentiation and die in a normal pattern. So normally, normal cell, what happens? They go differentiate and they die. But when you have mutation in a differentiating gene, now they can't differentiate, they can't die, so become cancerous. So all the oxidative stress and inflammation has to induce mutation in a differentiating gene or oncogene or tumor suppressor genes. And this is by chance. When this happens, by seldom, because mutation is occurring all the time in our body. But when that occurs in a specific by chance,
Right.
this is by chance. And so, and you can see that if oxidative damage is not repaired, then chronic inflammation occurs. And both of the excuse me, both of these play central role in the development of cancer.
So,
So the
Dr.
question is,
Prasad,
yeah.
Does radiation behave a little bit like this in doing damage to cells?
Radiation also produces free radicals.
Okay.
Radiation also produces inflammation, and it can cause mutation right after exposure.
Okay.
Okay, cause mutation. But
So
that
you got
mutation may not
food.
lead to cancerous.
Okay.
Mutation has to be in a specific genes.
Mm-hmm.
The specific genes are the oncogenes, which is normally present in your body, tumor suppressor gene, which keeps normal cell in a normal state, don't develop tumor. And then you have the differentiating gene. It's very important. So normal cell differentiate into various different types of cell, and then they die normally. This is what is happening in our body all the time. Some die within 24 hours, some later on. But when the mutation occurs in differentiating gene, then the cell cannot differentiate, cannot die, and become cancerous. This was
Doesn't
theory that was confirmed because I was working on neuroblastoma cell, which was already cancerous.
uh-huh.
And so the question was, is it possible? At that time, it was not known that cancer cell you can reverse back to normal cell. It was not known.
Oh.
But what we demonstrated in a neuroblastoma cell, which was a cancer of childhood nerve cell, that if you elevate one physiological substance called cyclic AMP, they become like a mature neuron. Instead of dividing, they become like mature neuron with dendrites, neurites, and axons forming. Yeah, look at that.
So this
This
is
is
what you're
one
talking about here.
Yeah, you see neuroblastoma on left side, you can see all these cells are dividing rapidly. And here, just elevate cyclic AMP, which is present in your body normally. But artificially, we increase them in the cell culture model. And you can see that. And when you inject these cells into animal model, they don't produce tumor. This is from the animal. And if you inject these cells, which are dividing, they produce tumor. So for this makes me very famous at that time,
Wow.
internationally, and they got all kind of the invitation and grant from the NIH, a lot of money.
That's
So
what I'm talking about.
so at that time I didn't know anything about nutrition when I discovered.
Well, that's how brilliance works. So, but let me ask you, Dr. Prasad, doesn't the immune system know when a cell has gone rogue, and doesn't the immune
Yes,
system jump in
it
there
does.
and attack
No,
it?
it is. No, that's a very important question. Immune system is extremely important. For your immune system, tumor cell becomes foreign cell, and they try to kill it.
Right.
But if your immune system is poor, then it cannot kill it.
There we go.
So you have to build up a high level all the time. If your immune system is good, you won't have a cancer.
Okay.
Because as soon as the cancer cell become cancerous, say, for example, by tumor initiating agents you are exposed to, but the immune system says, oh, it is just like a virus. Oh, you are foreign. I will kill you. They send what is called a tumor killing cell.
In
Immune
K.
system produce a specific type of tumor called tumor killer cell.
Uh-huh.
They take care of that. This is kind of in a form of lymphocytes. And so they take care, but if your immune system is poor, that they can't kill, they can't produce a strong enough, large enough in a number to kill the cells.
There we go. There we go. So the science is rock solid. Tumor initiating cells, tumor promoting agents, radiation, all of these things can cause cells and genes to go skewy and become abnormal.
Yes, but it
So
takes a long time. You have to understand it. So you have a lot of time
it's
to
happening.
prevent it.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of time to prevent it. And how do you prevent it? Well, we know that increased oxidative stress, chronic inflammation are the one, if you don't do that, they will keep causing new mutation.
Right.
And
Right.
finally, mutation become a differentiation gene or oncogene, then cell become cancerous.
I got you. Got you. And then, of course, if your immune system is weak, you run out of bullets, so to speak. You can't kill enough of the bad guys.
Yeah.
And
So,
they
so,
eventually
so
overrun you.
if your immune system is poor because you have poor nutrition, then not only that you will increase the risk of mutation, and one time it will hit the right in a right gene, oncogene, not tumor suppressor gene.
Mm-hmm.
And so it is very important to build up your immune system. While building up your immune system, you also reduce oxidative stress and inflammation.
Right.
We are the one who are creating a problem. And
Right.
so, for example, microdaily EMF is a very good agent to reduce the oxidative stress and inflammation.
Mm-hmm.
So if you combine with your diet as much as you can do it, changing lifestyle as much as you can do it, avoid environmental toxin as much as you can do it, but they are difficult. But the one which we are recommending is micronutrient rich is very easily adaptable. You don't have to follow anything. You take a few pills, and your body has sufficient amount of, antioxidant that can reduce oxidative stress and inflammation.
That's
Even,
right.
for example, tumor-promoting agents. For example, I'm mentioning you that there has been a study that estrogen is tumor-promoting agent for breast cancer. The testosterone is tumor-promoting agent for prostate cancer. But yeah, and that immediate that can be the tumor-promoting effect of these hormones can be blocked by antioxidant.
Wow.
So it is very important to remember that somebody has it, and a potential to have it. So if you keep your body all the time high level of oxidative, the micronutrients,
Antioxidants, yeah.
then chances is that even if you modify a little bit of, is will be very important, and to reduce the risk of cancer. This
Wow.
way, you can do this very easily. It is easily adaptable. The diet is impossible to change for many people. Smoking, we have not succeeded in convincing people not to smoke.
Right.
But well, even macronutrient, we have not been convinced people convincing.
That's
And
right.
if you don't follow these kind of guidelines, then you may have a chance to develop cancer.
Wow. That's incredible, Dr. Prasad. We're gonna have to follow up with this discussion and get some more out of you on this. Um, because the information is completely overwhelming and hard to even believe because we just don't hear this. We don't hear, people telling us this in plain English, that there's simple things that we can do.
You
And
do
if
it,
you
exactly.
can't do these simple things, there's a simple supplement that
Yeah,
you can take that could literally disrupt the marriage of the tumor initiating
yeah, yeah,
agent with the tumor promoting agent. It's
yeah,
about keeping those two apart and
yeah.
putting something in between to stop it. So
Even
we
though
have
tumor, if the cells are already initiated
right.
to become cancerous, but is waiting for the tumor promoting agent to take them there, you can block it.
We want to stop them. We want to.
And also we can stop the action. Initiating agent cannot initiate it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Cannot alter DNA, cannot change the mutation by improving your micronutrient status in your body.
Wow, this is incredible. Well, we have a testimonial that
Sure.
that we'd like to kind of insert here and allow it to tell a little bit of the story, a little bit about how real this has proven to be, and that this is not just hyperbole, but these are folks who have gotten some real results by taking advice that Dr. Prasad has given and just added supplementation to their diet, and their life has made a difference.
Yeah.
Stuff has happened differently. So Jeff has one that he wants to share. He says it goes back a couple of years, but we want to share it anyway. So Jeff, please.
Absolutely. Thanks, Jonathan, for pulling me on here. I've just been thinking, as you and Dr. Prasad have been discussing cancer. Dr. Prasad referenced how radiation is a cancer promoter. And this is a video that we captured during a live Zoom here about a year ago, where Gary talks about his son who carried a cell phone in his front pocket and the ramifications of that. So I'm going to just go ahead and play this video.
In 2013, I want to talk about my son, Jared. Jared, in July of 2013, was died. Are you okay with this?
Yep.
Yes. Okay. I was diagnosed with cancer. What he had done is in his right pocket. Back when we had it caused the cancer in his testicle, his right testicle. And it swelled up. And he said there's something wrong. So he went to the doctor. The doctor diagnosed it as cancer. So we actually took him over to the Huntsman Clinic, our hospital, which is a fantastic hospital, big one, over in Salt Lake City. And here's a picture of him after he lost his hair. Can you see that? I don't know if you can see that or not. But anyway, he's in bed, lost his hair. We're concerned that he's going to die. And he started on the chemo and went through the chemo process. And we didn't know what to do because after a period of time, they said, well, we've done all we can do for you, Jared. There's nothing more we can do. I said, doctor, well, what's happening here? Are you sending him home to die? And he said, well, there's nothing more we could do. We could give him another round of chemo. And I said, well, doctor, isn't that just poison? And he said, yes. I said, well, that's not something we want to do more. So we left and found a place in Arizona. Now that was in March of 2014. We moved him over to Arizona to a cancer clinic. And they took out his blood and oxygenized it, ran it back through his body, did he chemo, he did radiation. And over a period of time, through that year, he was being treated. But they found out that he had a couple of tumors in his stomach, and they wanted to get rid of those. So they radiated those, and almost automatically, the cancer went to his lung, it went into a big bowl underneath his chin, and it scared him. And he'd been doing quite a little bit of study about the chemo part. And so I talked to him today, and he says he told him he didn't want to have the same kind of chemo as what they had at the Huntsman. And so they did all right there, and it took down the swelling in his lymph nodes and in his lung, and reduced the size of the tumors in his stomach. But they wanted to get rid of the tumors in his stomach, so they radiated those. And when they did that, it caused it to go throughout his body to a degree, both back in the oxygen. It did not to the degree that it did before. But they said, one thing we're going to have to do with you, Jared, we have another chemo program that we want to have, and we're going to have to cut your leg off. And he says, what? And why would you want to do that? He said, well, there's a sword there, and we want to just take your leg off, and it would help. He says, that's unacceptable. And they said, well, the only other thing that we can do is give you stem cells. And there's a place in Indiana we're going to set you up with. And he was really, really upset about that whole thing. And so what happened is that I found out in 2014, July the 28th, I talked to somebody in southern Utah that knew about this, and I ordered it. And then he started on it in 2014, and they left in December to go to Christmas in Idaho. And when they came back, they said, we've got to get a imprint of where all of your cancer is. And when they did that, the doctor came back and they said, Jared, I don't know what's happened to you, but you don't have any cancer at all. And, we've been giving him this microdaily for, ever since, probably 8/14, August probably of 2014, by the time I got the product and everything. And by the time he was cancer-free, it was 2015 in January. And we absolutely know, I know that if he hadn't had the microdaily, which increased his, the body has a design to get rid of things through the immune system. And there's nothing more powerful that I know now than microdaily. And we're so very thankful. It's been 7 years now without cancer-free still. So that's my story. I just really am grateful that that they could come to us and say, Jared, you're cancer-free.
Pretty amazing.
Well, how much he was taking, do you know? Jeff, did you know how much he was taking?
Yeah, he was just at that point doubling the dose. We know
Okay.
now that tripling the dose would be your suggestion, but yeah, his dad just says we need to get it into his system.
Yeah, I mean that was very good one. Doubling is a very good idea, and so I'm surprised. But
Wow.
we've seen many cases since then
Yes.
about this treatment issue. Only one thing I was just warned. I have told that when you have any kind of cancer treatment or without treatment that we are going through, don't take collagen peptides.
Right.
Why, right? I have
Yes,
to.
we have. In fact, I'm going to ask you about the specific components that you do recommend. But tell us a little bit, Dr. Prasad, how is it that this man could have responded so
Yeah,
to
because
microdata?
they
Because
said
there's a lot
high
of
dose.
folks here that don't know. There's a lot of folks that are clueless
Yeah,
as
I
to how
know.
this happened.
He was terrible. He went through all kind of a problem. But see, for therapeutic dose of antioxidant, doesn't care what kind of cancer you have, whether you are getting treatment or not. They kill cancer cell, but not normal cell. And they kill it because they deprive cancer cell two essential nutrients they need for survival. One is glucose, one is glutamine.
Okay.
And so I think, and so for them, it is as long as your cancer is still there, was still there, some cancer. So they killed it. Or also they build up immune system. Then immune system, then now you can sell some killer cell so that it can help micronutrient to help it. So,
So
so
what you're saying,
I'm surprised. I'm surprised in a sense that he has gone through all those chemotherapy, radiation. In the beginning,
it was just getting worse.
it's getting worse. It happens. Here is the another thing that we will discuss next time, that people ignore probiotics. Probiotics has been shown, and I'm writing a paper on that. Probiotics have been shown to reduce the ability of chemotherapy and radiation to be effective. And therefore, because there is an intestinal dysbiosis there too, is severe intestinal dysbiosis in cancer patient.
Mm-hmm.
And if during a chemotherapy or radiation, it gets worse. So you
That's
have
right.
to take care of the probiotics with our probiotics that we have. Otherwise, even it will improve further, quicker in terms of the response. If you also take care at the same time probiotics.
I'm glad you're saying that, Dr. Prasad. We have one client right now. She has something, Dr. Nakuzi referred to it as a fungating cancer. And it started out as a breast cancer, a lump, but then it eventually just exploded. It literally looks a little bit like, hate to say this, but it looks a little bit like cauliflower and brain, like a combination of cauliflower and brain. And it just exploded out of her chest. And after just a few weeks on high doses of micronutrients, pieces of the tumor is just falling off. It's just
Yeah,
dying off. It's just starting
yeah,
to fall
yeah,
off.
yeah.
So it is no longer getting larger. She was having excruciating pain in about 7 different areas. I mean, the morphine level of pain that she was having in about 7 different areas. The CBD was bringing the pain down, but it's just fascinating to see that pieces of this tumor is just falling off. So we're waiting to see the final results, and then we're going to share with you the ultimate results and the pictures that she's been taking, to show the whole thing. But she's added the probiotic to the whole profile,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
that's an important part of this.
It's very important. And also, I mentioned that collagen peptide never adds.
Yeah,
Why?
no, we're not giving anyone any collagen peptide that has an active cancer.
Yeah, no. Why? Because, see, the immune system sends a tumor killer cell, and that killer cell comes and slow down the growth of the cancer that you have. But what happened, cancer cell is very smart. The cancer cell started producing a type of protein. When they produce that type of protein, collagen peptide binds it with that protein and creates a barrier. So now immune cell, tumors killing cell from immune system cannot cross that barrier, cannot enter into the tumor environment, and the tumor start growing faster.
Hmm.
So never take collagen
Not
peptides
good.
if you have a cancer.
Not good. Not good. Yeah, I found that to be the case too with a cysteine that also tended to make everything get worse. Does the omega-3 daily help at all?
Well, I mean, omega-3 daily is important for your overall health, but it
Okay.
has no direct impact on cancer cell. I mean, that is absolutely essential for your health
Right.
because your body doesn't make it.
Mhm.
So, for overall health, for brain health especially, and heart health, omega-3 is very important, but it has no direct relevance to cancer.
Okay, so it's providing good nutrition for while
Yeah.
your body is fighting it.
Yes, yes.
Mhm.
And
Okay.
again, digestive enzyme is important because whenever you have intestinal dysbiosis, and if you are older person, for example, then you have a digestive problem anyway. But if you are a younger person, then you don't have to take a digestive issue because your body is producing. But if
Right.
you're taking a chemotherapy or radiation, for example, but they are going to damage your pancreas to some extent, your damaged intestine, you are going to damage these organs, and then you need a digestive enzyme.
Mhm.
But if you are not taking a chemotherapy or radiation, then you don't need it.
Right. Gotcha. Okay. And chemo brain is a very real thing for
Ute,
people who are
that's
taking
after
that kind of
treatment.
treatment.
That's
Mhm.
after treatment.
Right.
That's very important. And brain, as you know, we have given, for example, we have a two important thing is the curcumin and resveratrol. Resveratrol is the only, not only that both are a very powerful antioxidant, and as you know, brain is exposed to very high level of free radicals and has the least prepared to defense against free radicals, brain. And so you can see that the resveratrol and curcumin are very powerful, more powerful than any other antioxidant and anti-inflammation agents. So these two are extremely important. And resveratrol has additional function that not many other antioxidant has it, that it increases the formation of new mitochondria. And as you know, new mitochondria is the major source of energy. If you have mitochondrial problem, then we have all kind of disease. So this is very important, those things that we have given. Not only it has an important in brain function, but also it has been shown to be important in terms of, for example, resveratrol will prevent beta amyloid. Generally, beta amyloid, which is causes the Alzheimer's disease, toxic protein, but they cannot call until they get aggregated. And resveratrol prevents the aggregation of beta amyloid.
Oh,
So it
wow.
can become toxic. So these are very important functions. That's why we added that. You see
Wow.
what I mean? And then, of course, we have 2-phosphatidylserine and phosphatidylcholine. These are very important. Um, the precursor of membrane. And as you know, membranes in the brain is very sensitive to free radical damage, and they get destroyed all the time. So they provide an additional substrate so that they can make it a brain, and brain become stronger. And if membrane becomes stronger, then they cannot allow the toxic chemical to get inside the nerve cells. And so this is very important. And niacin nicotinamide is also very important because they act as a substrate for mitochondria to generate energy, and so is the coenzyme Q10.
You put the niacin. How come we don't feel the
I don't know.
niacin rush,
I
the
mean,
D3?
nicotinamide ascorbate, I think niacin, it is, you could do it to folate, but niacin is in a niacinamide form, and that form does not cause a flushing.
Okay. Okay, because I never feel the flush, and I've been taking two of these things at a time, and I
You
don't
see,
feel any flush.
niacinamide ascorbate is very important. It's not just the niacin. Niacin
Okay.
could be, so
It's in there. And
yeah.
I'm a little bit nervous right now because I'm noticing I went to check to see what my supply, and I'm down to just my last 3 capsules in this bottle, and I don't have any more on the shelf, Dr. Prasad, and this is not good. I'm at 911 level right now, so this is not good. So I
Well,
got.
I mean, a few days does make difference, but
Oh no, it makes a difference. I can't. No. That's not.
no, but I'm saying that, if you don't have, then you borrow from your neighbor. Borrow from Bernard,
Yeah, I'm gonna find someplace because
Dr. Picola. Yeah.
yeah, this is a problem for me. But now, Dr. Prasad, you mentioned stress earlier. Now, I know that micro daily makes a big difference and gives that feeling of well-being. Is that because of the vitamin E succinate that gives that feeling of well-being?
Yeah, I think vitamin D, one of the many reasons is vitamin succinate, maybe one of them, because it can cross the blood-brain barrier more easily and increase the antioxidant level. And therefore it provides protection against free radical, additional protection against free radicals. And so it has a multiple action. But as far as the stress is concerned, if it is a chronic stress,
The
you have to
CBD.
get help from the CBD.
CBD is the way to go. Okay.
Yeah.
So add the CBD to the bundle. So basically then, if someone is looking to put themselves in prevention mode, then they need to go with the basic bundle. So they need to work with the one on the bottom, which is the
Yeah.
basic
Those
bundle.
two are must.
And so start with the basic bundle down here on the
Prevention.
bottom.
Yeah, those
And
two are
then,
one for prevention and for the cancer. And
right. And then
so
add to that. And then they can add to that additional
Yeah.
CBD if they want to.
if they want to, if they have some
And
sleeping
brain
problem.
boost. So those two things can add to. So go with the basic bundle. If you're dealing with cancer, you don't want the premium or the core 4. You want to go with the basic bundle and add on components.
as you need it. Yeah.
Mhm.
For
Okay.
example, eye boost. Some people might
Eye
have
boost.
an eye problem.
Right.
Then you take an eye boost. So those are individually, not for everybody, but those are individual who needs it.
Right. That's powerful. I did ask. I don't know if Deborah Bowman is on here now. We had another live story that we want to share
Sure.
with you. So Deborah, Deborah, did you make it on the program today? And it was what's her name? One of her clients was going to share their stories. Also, I want to try to slip that in just before we wrapped up because we're going overtime right now.
Oh,
And we got a bunch of questions that are coming up, but they're not on the subject of cancer right now, and we really want to keep our focus right now
cancer,
on
yes. Yeah.
on cancer. So we appreciate all the other questions, and I think I've seen one or two of them. I think I can address those other questions offline, so it won't be a problem there. So, Dr. Prasad, can you give us a little bit of by the way, for anyone who's on here now and you're trying to figure out how to get access to the products, what do the products cost? How do I order? Just get back with the person who invited you to this discussion, and they'll take care of you. They'll help you to set up a subscription. And listen to me carefully. You want to go on subscription. It's like Amazon. You get a bigger discount if you go on subscription. But if you buy them a la carte, most of the things a la carte, you pay a little bit more money. If you buy them retail, of course, you're going to pay a little bit more money. But just get back with the person who invited you to this discussion, and they will help you to get yourself set up. But now, this says part 1, but we're going to be talking about part 2 next week, Dr. Prasad.
Mhm.
And so this is the wrong slide. So I don't know who slipped this in here. Bernard must have did this one. So so next week is going to be part 2 of our same discussion. So you want to just give us a 30-second teaser as to what next week is going to be about then?
I think at the next week should be little, I don't know if we ever discussed the treatment component or not.
There we go.
And
Yes.
so we can do the cancer treatment, how to improve the current
There we go.
treatment,
Okay.
how to improve it, how to remove that toxicity. And and so that will be interesting topic to discuss it. And as you know, we have a cancer patent approved for these issues. But in a meanwhile, I use therapeutic dose using microdeleenia. But we have different types of formulation which has been approved for patent.
That's right. And part of prevention would also include prevention of recurrence.
Yes,
that
of reoccurrence, yes.
that can fall right in line with exactly what you're discussing right now. Then, so this is excellent, Dr.
Yeah, because one of the major problem is not only reoccurrence problem with current therapy, but also what we call in radiation biology called bystander effect. In other words, suppose your gut got treated with chemotherapy and radiation, but you develop tumor melanoma, or you develop tumor in prostate cancer, or develop some other place, because they have noticed this is because of the bystander effect of radiation. Because when cell dies, they produce a lot of chemicals, and that chemical through the bloodstream start cancer causing, start affecting other organs. And
Wow.
so, which were not involved in radiation field, but still they
Wow.
develop cancer. That's very
Wow.
important to remember.
Wow.
How
Dr.
we can
Prasad, this,
prevent that? How we can
So,
prevent?
it's like
Jonathan, I'm here.
it's all endless. It never ends. So that's Deborah.
Yes,
Okay, so Deborah,
yes. I was trying to unmute.
well, give us the brief version because we're over time.
Yeah, the brief version was my cousin's in Washington, D.C. husband was diagnosed with prostate cancer. His numbers were 4 or high. And we started him on the program, and he came to Atlanta for a second opinion. By the time he came to Atlanta, his numbers had dropped to 1. So he has gotten some really good results just by being on the micro daily while they were waiting to decide how to treat him. So now he has other options than the only radiation or surgery. So it works.
Dr.
That's
Prasad,
good. Yes, that's very good.
did you hear that? While waiting for treatment, started on your protocol, and now he's got other options now. His numbers have gone down.
Yeah.
Thank
That's why I
you, Deborah.
recommend, that's why I recommend the therapeutic dose 2 weeks before the surgery.
Yeah.
If you are going to go surgery, radiation, so at least the tumor size will shrink, and then you don't have to take much radiation or chemo or surgery.
Well, that's just wonderful. Well, thank you so much again,
Yeah.
Dr. Prasad. Thank you, Deborah. Thank you, Jeff, for that phenomenal
Thank
story.
you.
Dr. PK and Bernard, thank you so much for jumping in here and doing what you do.
Is this going to be on YouTube?
It is already on YouTube. Yes.
Oh, yeah, and next week is going to be about cancer again.